Okay, hello everybody. Today I'm going to be doing distance formula. Essentially what distance formula tells us is the distance between 2 points. So we have point A and point B. It tells us on the line itself what the distance between the 2 points is. So here is the formula for it. It's D is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, so what we end up doing here is we assume that they give us 2 points, x1 and y1, x2 and y2. We plug them into our formula, solve all the way through, and the answer that we get is the distance between the 2 points. The best way to learn distance formula, like most other things, is by going through an example. During the first example, I'll go through it, and then I'll write down the steps on the side like I usually do. So let's get started. Okay, so example number 1. So we have 1 point, 1 comma 2, and our next point, 2 comma 1. Okay, so here's the first step we're gonna do here. Name both points. So we name both points. Okay, so of course we're gonna use our same formula. But the first thing we're gonna do is name both points. So here I'm gonna name this one x1. Here's something to note and that you have to know. If I'm gonna make this the x from this ordered pair x1, then that y has to be y1. I can't mix them. Okay? So this point here, if it's x1, then its coordinate pair has to be y1 as well. Since these are the ones, this is going to be x2 and y2. Again, it doesn't matter what order we do it in. It doesn't matter which point is x1, y1. This could be x1, y1, and this one will be x2, y2. But they have to be the same number if they're the coordinate pair. So what I couldn't do would be like x1, y2, and then over here I had x2, y1. That is a no-no. You can't do that, no. But let's say we had x2, y2, and x1, y1. That I can do, flip them. See, from these two, I flip them. You can do that. That is acceptable. No problem. Okay, so let's go through. Now that we've named both points, we gave them their names, our next step will be to plug them into the formula. So, plug into distance formula. Okay, so we get our formula, and we just plug them in. So we take x2, which is 2, x1, which is, we're subtracting it of course, minus 1, squared plus y2, 1, minus y1, 2, squared. Okay, now what we do, step number 3, is solve all the way through. Solve all the way through. Okay, so let's go. 2 minus 1 is 1 squared plus 1 minus 2 is negative 1 squared. 1 squared is 1 plus negative 1 squared is also 1. 1 plus 1 is equal to the square root of 2. And I'm going to leave that as an answer. We could plug into a calculator and get our estimation. So, but most teachers, ask your teacher about this, but most teachers will say that if you have it in square root like that, then you should be solid on your answer. But let's see what square root of 2 is. Our answer would be an estimate. I'm rounding to the nearest hundredth, and I got 1.41. And the curvy equal sign means that it's an estimation for the answer. So that's basically how we do it. Other than this, I'm going to run through a couple quick examples, and that's how you do a distance formula. So this is telling us that the distance between these 2 points is square root of 2. What I will be doing though, the same example again, but I'm going to flip them just to prove to you that naming order is no problemo. So I hope you wrote that down because I'm going to go ahead and erase it now. Again, the nice thing about YouTube is that you can pause my videos. I strongly recommend that when you're going through my videos, you like follow along, writing all the examples down. It's a really great way to learn. So remember, our old answer was square root of 2. Now we're going to flip them in naming. So in the first step, just to prove that you get the same answer, we're going to make this x2 and this y2. This is going to be x1 and this is going to be y1. So we name both points. Next, plug into the formula. x2 minus x1, so we have 1 minus 2 squared plus y2 minus y1, 2 minus 1 squared. Square root. 1 minus 2 is negative 1 squared, plus 2 minus 1 is a positive 1 squared. Negative 1 squared is 1, positive 1 squared is 1. Simplify, that is equal to square root of 2, or 1.41, rounded to the nearest hundred. So again, the naming order does not matter. I just proved that right here. If you flip them, no problem, as long as x2 and y2 stay together and x1, y1 stay together. So I went through all 3 steps, and that's how you solve for distance formula. So now a couple quick examples. So we're going to have 3, 4, 2, 2. Okay, so, and then this one will be x2, y2. So we went through our first step there. We named them. That did not help. Second one, plug it into the distance formula. So we're going to take x2, 2, minus x1, 3, squared, plus y2, 2, minus y1, 4, squared. Okay. Simplify. 2 minus 3 is negative 1, squared, plus 2 minus 4 is negative 2, squared. Good. More simplification. Negative 1 squared is just positive 1, plus negative 2 squared is 4. So our answer is the square root of 5, or estimation. Again, to the nearest hundredth, 2.24. Okay, so there we go for that one. I'm going to try to do one more. I'm trying to figure out how I can make it so that our answer is a whole number. I'm thinking if we plug in all ones, would that make it? No. Okay. Let's see. Guess what? I'm probably not going to figure it out. So we'll just go through one more example. Actually, I'm going to give you a couple of rules, and then we'll go through our last example. So here are the quick little rules. You can only use the distance formula if 1, you have all real numbers. You probably won't encounter any problems in Algebra 1, but by all real numbers, basically I'm just trying to say that all the numbers you're using are positive or negative numbers, no infinities or letters, any fancy schmancy stuff like that, just straight up numbers. Second, in your square root, you must have, when you get down to your square root, inside of your square root, you have to have a positive number, okay? You can't have zeros or negative numbers. If so, go back and check your work. If you have a 0, then that means that the answer does not exist. There's no distance between the 2 points. You probably won't encounter that, but if it comes up. So you must have a positive integer in your square root. That's plus x, x being your number, so it has to be positive. That's all I'm saying with that. So those are your only two rules for distance formula. I'm going to run through one more example, and then we're all set to go. So distance formula is really easy. It's just naming. Make sure you have your naming down right, and plugging in. Make sure you have your plugging in down right. There we go. Okay, last example. So we're going to have 5, 10, and 1, 2. Square root. Oh, sorry. Name, first step. Good thing I wrote those down. We're going to name this one. Actually, we're going to change it up a bit. We're going to make this one x2. This is going to be y2. x1, y1. Okay. Now we plug into the distance formula. So we have x2 minus x1, which is 5 minus 1 squared, plus y2 minus y1, 10 minus 2 squared. Square root. Okay. Here, 5 minus 1 is equal to 4 squared, plus 10 minus 2 is 8. 8 squared. Go on down and simplify. So we have 4 squared is 16, plus 8 squared is 64. So now we have the square root. Again, we're just solving all the way through. So 16 plus 64 is equal to the square root of 80, which with an estimate, we're going to plug that into our calculator. We get, rounded to the nearest hundredth again, our answer is 8.944. Okay, so there we go. Just a quick run through the steps, so to make sure you understand them. We named both points. We did that. x2 stays with y2, x1 stayed with y1. We're solid. Plug into the distance formula. We did that here. And then we just solved all the way through. And then we simplified with our calculator. Again, this is an estimate. I rounded to the nearest hundredth. There we go. The reason I erased the 4 is because 4 keeps it the same. If it was 5 or higher, this 4 would have gone up. Just basic rules of rounding. Other than that, hit like below and subscribe. Hope the video helped. I'm going to be uploading many more videos, but I need help, of course. So make sure to go down into the comments, and if you need help with any topics, just tell me what you need help with, and I'll try to get that video out within 2 days or under. I'm pretty adamant and good about that. So, not adamant, I'm pretty good about that. I don't even know why that word popped up. But yeah, I'm pretty good about that. So other than that, just hit like and subscribe. Thank you. See you next week.